very important material that you are going to see just now from scientists, rabbis, about the Bible code, the Torah code. Interesting documentary we did with Richard Shaw, Torah codes, End to Darkness, and I can see it, Amazon, YouTube. Watch. We also showed it. But what I'm going to show you now, very important material, you should follow it properly because this is the basis for the Torah code, the Bible code. Without these people, we don't understand what our Bible code, what its importance, why I'm doing and others are doing so many efforts to show more and more, and to realize that this is far away from being coincidence. So let us see now, this is a book really which did with Professor Aralik of Untitled Center University, with Professor Arif from the Hebrew University, both of them quite famous, and myself in a book, Torah Codes, A Glimpse into the Infinite. This also man considers a lot of material. The same thing we did with Professor Aralik about Bible code and Kabbalah, Secrets of Creation. All this you can get in Kindles, Amazon.com, in my site, Glazerson.com. But what I'm going now to show you, also in Russian, as most of professors I work with are Russian people. So this is really what we did also. Myself and Professor Aralik, very important material for Russian people, lots of important tables with all the statistics, scientific background to it. Very important for Russian people. This is for Hebrew. In Hebrew, which I did with Professor Rips and also part with Aralik. It is called End to Darkness in Hebrew, Kesam Lechosher. Again, showing with Professor Rips, the program of Professor Rips, clearly showing how everything there is very, very scientific. So this is the book. Now this is really the people that did this documentary with Richard Shaw. Very wonderful work he did. It is not more with us, but this is what you see here. Professor Rips for Hebrew University, very highly known as mathematician. Professor Robert Haralik for Glazerson Center, previously known to be international chairman of the image processing, pattern recognition, scientific science, as inspector of NASA in the past. Very highly known scientific. Art Levitt, also a great scientist in Israel, Jerusalem. And Dr. Rottenberg, also from Russia. And really, when Professor Rips showed him the phenomenon of the course, he realized it is the truth. He became Orthodox Jews, keeping of the Torah and mitzvahs, but all of them that you see here are keeping Torah and mitzvot fully. And this myself. This is what we did together, interesting documentary, which Richard Shaw. You can see the documentary, you can get it in Amazon.com, you can see it in YouTube and other places. Really, quite few television showed him, very interesting programs with him. Watch, iWatch and many other, Skywatch and others showed us with Richard Shaw. So let us see now the important material, which is very, very important. So let us see first the scientists, really. This starts with the scientists which are really, you can say, those are great ones who looked and saw the phenomena of the cause. And this is what they say. So the first thing, Professor Robert Oman, famous mathematician, Nobel Prize awardee, and member of the National Academy of Science of America. So what he says, if the research of the Torah code comes to light, behold, this is the greatest discovery of 300 years of scientific research, which is the truth, yeah. That's the Torah in such a way. Every story, everything which came in the world, past, present, future. So definitely, this is what we need to look properly and to appreciate. So scientists said, because this is what he said in the beginning of the research, but after 4 years of research, well, not more than many years of research, really started from 1976, 1976. Professor Reeves and Rob and Doron Bissum, really. Professor Harlick knew about it a little bit later when I showed him this phenomena. But a long time ago, really, when the research started in 1976, already they looked into it, but now that we are in 2021, many years went and the research went much, much wider and deeper. One can see it in the internet, a lot of Professor Reeves' work, and also the scientific people accepted it. It is known, it was in Gong, and it was accepted by some as being a scientific work. So a lot of new material, but in the beginning, really, this is what they said. The same thing Professor Percy Diaconis, famous professor of statistics and member of the National Academy of Sciences in America, is very famous known. So he said, we agree that this research, if borne out, is of broad scientific interest and has important implication for our way of thinking about our physical world. It is not only a matter of biblical studies, no doubt. A lot of teaching behind, a lot of important messages behind us. You saw many YouTubes. So very, very important. Then a great revelation, this was Professor Atzmon said, was famous one, a great revelation that clouds even Copernicus' revelation. If there is substance to this research, then the foundation of the human way of thinking will experience strong tremors, which is no doubt. So then if people follow how much it was developed, and more interesting and very significant tables which came out, and definitely clearly shown in the Torah, did not work at all in other places, not at all statistical difference, because one can see it clearly now. So basically we speak about a phenomenon which is supposed to change the world, no doubt. But there is a certain, Doron Bissum, the scientist, says that really the opposition to the Bible codes is not scientific. Scientific already came out, it right in the beginning, but so many proofs against them, so no more. So what is the opposition? Psychological. Simple. People don't accept the Torah. They don't want to keep Shabbos, Jews, to keep many other things which the Torah required. So better not to believe the Torah is from divine. The same thing with Gentile also. There are 7 laws of Noach, also require many things that it doesn't suit people. Yeah, they want abortion allowed, like Obama said, and Democrats allowed, and other things definitely against the Torah. So, hoping that the time will come, what maybe Messiah, but it is really Messianic code also. So, we'll see the proof of the Torah being from heaven, divine from heaven. So this is what great scientists said, and the scientists which are involved in it, you will bring few of them. One of them, Robert Haralick now, about him is written, was born in Brooklyn, New York, of 1970. He received BA degree in mathematics from the University of Glazerson in 1964. Then got the degree of electrical engineering in 1966. an MSD in electrical engineering in 1967. 1969, after completing his PhD at the University of Tennessee, joined the faculty of the electrical engineering department, there where he last served as professor from 1975 and 78. 1989, Dr. Rabbi joined the electrical engineering department at Virginia and Polytechnic Institute and State University. But he's much more afterwards, yeah, but he was really the inspector of NASA, the satellite, yeah, and also he was international chairman of pattern recognition, image processing, many other things. Then he's very much involved with him. We did a lot of books together, as you saw. Then you have Professor Rips. Liao Rips grew up in Riga, Latvia, then part of Soviet Union. He was the first high school student from Latvia to participate in the International Mathematical Olympiad. After high school, he attended the University of Latvia in 1969 in a protest against Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. Rips attempted his immigration in a protest against Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. After that, he was incarcerated by Soviet government, but under pressure from Western mathematicians, was allowed to immigrate to Israel. 1972 and 1970, he completed his PhD in mathematical Hebrew. Now a lot about him, about his work, which is definitely very, very significant in this area, one of the famous in the whole world, one can see. But it is a very interesting story about him. This is a story that he was protesting against the Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia. And then, interesting story that he was, because of this, Russian incarcerated by the Soviet government, but under pressure from Western mathematicians. It was really from England and States. So he was allowed to immigrate because they told them that there is a genius here and they have to bring out. So he went to Israel. In fact, in Israel, when they realized, they saw it, then they became their Baal Shuvah. Yeah, it was in Israel, because in Russia it's difficult to get. But to become Baal Shuvah, to believe in the Torah. But when he came to Israel, after a short time, he became Baal Shuvah, as you can see him. Yeah? And a lot. He did lots of work on the Bible code. We did books together, as you saw, in Hebrew, in English. And the same thing also Dr. Rottenberg. Yeah? In fact, before we have to mention Danielle Michaelson also. He clearly said in the article, this was a Torah code, the Bible code, who brought him back to Judaism. That's from Russia to become religious man. So Danielle Michaelson was born in Riga, Latvia in 1949, to parents who survived the Holocaust in 1971. He graduated as mathematics in Moscow University and immigrated to Israel. From 1967 to 1980, he taught mathematics at Tel Aviv University, studied toward a doctorate and served in the army. Upon completing his PhD thesis in applied mathematician in 1980, he did postdoctoral research at the University of California at Los Angeles. In 1983, he was awarded fellowships from the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation and from Yigal Allon Foundation in the fall of it. So the whole story about him, definitely one can see. So also he clearly said in the article that the Torah code, the Bible code brought him to Judaism to believe the Torah, to keep it fully. Then Also, you have Dr. Alexander Rottenberg. Yeah, Dr. Alexander Rottenberg, as in fact, we see this Robert Oman, we know about him, yeah. He was born in 1930 and Israeli-American mathematician and a member of the United States National Academy of Science. He is a professor of the Center for the Study of Rationality in the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel. He also holds a visiting position at Stony Brook University and is one of the founding members of the Center for Game Theory in Economics. Aumann received the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics in 2005. So he's also a religious Orthodox Jew, and also he saw what he said about the codes. So then, as I said, lots of interesting things behind. And this is Alexander Rothenberg, also with whom I did also books. And Alexander Rothenberg also received his PhD degree in the mathematical in field of probability theory and dynamic system in 1973 at the Moscow State University after his Aliyah, emigration to Israel. In 1990, Dr. Rothenberg became familiar with Torah codes. This phenomenon seemed so striking to him that he left and hid to independently investigate it on his own. He systematically investigated the way in which Torah commentators such as Rashi, the Turim, and Rabbeinu Bechai have the keyword of their explanation appearing as ELS, equal letter sequence nearby the verse being. He wrote a book, verse getting about it, which is called Holy Truth. Yeah, Holy Truth, definitely. So he's another scientist. We also clearly said that what brought him to Judaism to keep Torah, Shabbos, and everything was the Torah code. Clearly saying it, clearly proves that Torah is from heaven. He made the program really that I'm music all the time. So when you see my YouTube, the program is done by Dr. Alexander Rottenberg. Then, what is important here, what you are going to see now, is very important letter written by Shlomo Fisher. He's really known to be a great rabbi and one of the great in Israel, in all of the world, and people asking questions. So many people really don't understand what are the codes and what is very important. So they ask the question, is it allowed to show the truth of the Torah or try to prove its truth in different ways, like the words which appear in Torah at equal intervals, skip distances? So he answered this what he said. I was surprised and wondered about such a foolish question. It does not require thought. It is simple. It is a great mitzvah, commandment to do it. In every generation, the sages of Israel were the expert to answer the atheists use ways appropriate to their generation to prove the truth Torah. Look at the Tractate Chulin, page 60b. The sages asked, was Moses a hunter, or did he know all the animals in the world? As it is known, to be able to say that the only ones which choose their card and do have split hoofs, or which do who don't choose their card and don't have split hoofs are the ones mentioned in the Torah. So it is known that it was not more and no other than this one in the world. The sages answer from there that the Torah is from heaven. You can see that Moses, how he could know that all over the world, in Brazil, in South America, all over, in Australia, we not have other. There are so many kinds of animals, and now I'm like this, with trees, the cat, and splitting the hoofs. So clear proof, for only God knows the characteristic of all the enemies, since the facts show that this kind of proof, it means the Torah code, the Bible code, has a great impact to strengthen the faith that arises from heaven, like we saw. Professor Alik also believed in it. But the great change also of Dr. Rottenberg and Michaelson because of the code. It is a great mitzvah commandment for those who occupy themselves in these matters, but they must be on a level to properly deal with this on a scientific basis. This must not be like the people who don't know enough, who spoil instead of rectifying. Yeah, we see, unfortunately, people are doing, making like quotes and so on, and there's nothing typical at all, not minimal, not best meeting, not all the conditions to be significant. All those who occupy themselves in these matters will be blessed by God in all blessings which are for those who help others to be more meritorious and bring back those who are far away. Their ends should be strengthened. Heaven forbid they should not be discouraged by any pious and righteous arguments, because those who are arguing out of pity don't speak with sense. It is better that they should keep quiet. Blessed will be those who establish words of Torah. And this was signed by Rabbi Shlomo Fisher. This is really the Hebrew article which I translated. This is signature also by Fisher. And this is what he says. It's written also interesting that the answer was shown to God of Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. And Rabbi Auerbach said that he would say the same words. I mean, he agreed with this. It is known that he encouraged Don Wisdom to carry on working on it. So interesting and very significant material here that one should know that the codes are